Oh, my. And just who is this little fly you've brought me, Found at the edge of our territory. I see. Oh, it looks like it can barely stand. So small and helpless. Ahem. Hello, human. I am Kekria, queen of the spider folk. Do you speak common, human? Oh, good. What is your name, little fly? And why were you found entering our lands? We spider folk have made it a point to live out of the way of the other races. Our caves are surrounded by swamplands, nearly impassable for one such as yourself. Had my guard not found you first, you could have gotten stuck in the mire, or bitten by one of the many venomous serpents that live here. So what was it that led you to brave such dangers? You come from the nearby village? Yes, I'm familiar with it. We try to keep tabs on settlements close to our borders. But then, why come here? Attacked? Such a small, out-of-the-way village? Attacked? Who would do such a thing? Gnolls. This far out? Horrible, absolutely horrible. Oh, come here. Poor little fly. There. You're safe in my arms. Guard, get in contact with our scouts. Inform me of the condition of the village. Oh, don't be absurd. This little fly is no danger to anybody. Why, it's even trembling. Now go. Shoo! We'll be fine right here. Oh, just look at you. One of those nasty gnolls must have gotten a good swing at you. Don't worry. I can patch your arm up with a nice, clean silk bandage. Oh, well, of course it's my own silk, silly. It's soft, clean, and strong. Perfect for wrapping wounds. Now hold out your arm. Oh, poor sweet little thing. I know you must be scared to death after what you've been through. But I need you to cooperate if I'm to help you. Hold out your arm, please. I won't bite. Now, doesn't that feel so much better? If we're lucky, you won't end up with so much as a scar. It would be a waste for such soft, smooth skin to be marred by such an awful incident. I'm afraid it will probably be a while before we hear back. You're welcome to stay with me as long as you need. And perhaps we could even help... Oh, guard, you're back already? Surely you haven't rendezvoused with the scouts already? Oh, they were already on their way here to report. So, what happened? How bad is the damage? No. Oh, dear. Burned down? The whole village? Oh, my poor little fly. Oh, come here. Shh. Oh, guard, please leave us. Poor little dear. You don't deserve this, I'm sure. Here, let me carry you to my web. Shh. Now don't struggle. Oh, there we are. So much has happened, but you're safe here. If you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm right here. Oh, sweet little fly. I can't even imagine what must be going through your head. But please, don't push away. This web is made for spider folk, not humans. It's not made for catching food either, so at least it's not sticky. But you'll probably just get tangled up in it if you try to move on your own. It's all right. You can just stay in my arms. I hope it's not too soon to say this. I'm not familiar with protocol in human societies, but there are practical matters to attend to here. Since you no longer have a home, I'd love for you to stay with me. I was never able to have little spiderlings of my own, so I'd love to have someone to dote on. You've really awakened my maternal instincts, little fly. Don't you have anything to say to that? All you have to say is yes, you know. I know you must be going through a lot right now, but I can't stand not knowing what you're thinking. Please, at least look me in the eye. Well, 2 of them. Oh, what's this? I thought you were turning away from me to hide your tears, but this looks more like fear to me. Oh, poor little fly. You're safe here. Those cowardly gnolls may attack the odd village or two, but they would never assail the lair of the spider folk. You'll never, ever have to worry about them or any of the other awful creatures out there. Unless... Oh, you aren't afraid of me, are you? Oh, goodness, you are. Oh, but little fly, I'm the last person in the world you should fear. I want to protect you, cherish you, care for you. What could have possibly made you so frightened of me? Well, you could call me half spider, I suppose. It's not entirely true. We only call ourselves spider folk when speaking human languages, because it's the name you gave us. It's really more like we just happen to have some similar traits to spiders. And really, I think I'm more similar to you anyway. But is that all? I don't think that ought to be a reason to be so very frightened of me. It's not like I'm going to eat you. What's that? Oh, well, yes, I have been calling you little fly, but why does that... Oh, wait a moment. You actually were worried I might eat you? Oh my, what a silly misunderstanding. No, dear, no. After all, spider folk don't eat flies. We're far too big. A fly is just someone who's helpless, like a fly in a web. We often call humans flies. We don't mean it as an insult. It's just, you're all so much smaller and weaker than we are. Not to mention having only 4 limbs. No silk, no venom. You're all just so tiny and cute. I promise you, little fly, I won't eat you. We mostly eat animals that live here in the swamp. Snakes, toads, turtles, the occasional alligator when they get a little grumpy. We've even been known to eat mushrooms, although usually only in times of famine. No, I never even considered eating a human. I hope you're convinced. Good. Now that that's settled, what do you think of my offer, Oh, you mean it? You'll stay? Oh, you've made me so happy, little fly. I promise you, you'll love living here with me. But I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. I don't want you to think I'm trying to replace your other loved ones so soon after your loss. Oh, that sound. It's a phrase in our native tongue. It means, well, basically it means sympathy for you. As in, I understand that you're suffering, and my heart goes out to you. Oh, that was a good try. But I think your human mouth will have trouble with spider folk language. It's more like... Well, you can practice later if you like. For now, I imagine you must be tired. As much as I'd love to just sleep with you in my arms, I'm worried about what would happen if I accidentally let go. You might roll all the way off. I must admit I've been neglecting my web as of late. Oh, well, thank you. It certainly is much more elaborate and beautiful than an ordinary spider web. But usually a spiderfolk web looks even better. Some of them look like true works of art. Perhaps now that I'll have someone waiting here for me, I'll be motivated to make improvements. For now, I know. I'll just roll you up in silk and stick you right here next to me. Shh, no, don't worry. It will be perfectly comfortable. It'll be like a sleeping roll that humans use. No fussing now. Let me just... Oh, and there. Snug as a bug in a spider web. Oh, isn't it so soft and luxurious? Now, get some rest. Do you mind if I kiss your forehead goodnight? Thank you, dear little fly. I'm sorry that something so horrible happened to you, but I'm glad that you found your way to me. Pleasant dreams. Is that you moving around, little fly? Oh, it can't be time to get up already. Oh, dear, you look dreadful. You've had another nightmare, haven't you? Shh. No, come here. Oh, that's right. I wrapped you up, didn't I? Don't worry, I'll come to you. Oh, poor little fly. I'm here, darling. Mama Kekria is always here for you. Nothing bad can reach you here. You're safe in my web, deep within the spiderfolk caves. There's no way anything could ever happen to you, I promise. It's all right. Oh, dear, you're crying again. It's okay, you can cry. Let it all out. That's it. Poor, sweet, innocent fly. You don't deserve this. You're getting these nightmares more and more often, aren't you? I wish there was some way I could help you. If you can't get a proper night's rest soon, it'll catch up to you when you're awake. It's been hard enough for you as it is, adapting to the spiderfolk's nocturnal lifestyle. Perhaps this time you might tell me what it is you've been dreaming about? I know it's frightening, but I really do think you'll feel better if you tell me. And I do so want to calm your fears. but there's only so much I can do for you if you won't open up. Oh, no, shh. I'm not going to force you, darling. I would never force you to do anything that upset you like this. I only want what's best for you. You know that, right? Oh, dear, it upsets me so to see you like this. Perhaps, if you can't bring yourself to tell me, maybe I could guess? You don't have to say any of it out loud that way. Oh, thank you, little fly. I promise I'll stop if it gets too overwhelming. Well, I would guess... Are you reliving the night the Gnolls attacked your village? Not exactly. So you are dreaming about the Gnolls, but... Oh dear. In your dreams, are they attacking the spider folk here? Oh, how absolutely dreadful. Oh, poor little fly, that would never, ever happen. It's just as I said. There's no place in the world safer than where you are right now. Those Gnolls may have expanded their territory, but they would never, could never invade our home. There are miles of swampland all around, nearly impossible to cross. They'd have to move through the trees along our web bridges, and then we'd know they were here immediately. And the caves are very well fortified, as I've shown you. You are absolutely, completely safe from harm. But of course you already knew that. After all you've been through, I suppose it will take a great deal more than words to make you feel really safe. Perhaps only time can heal you. But until then, I'm here for you, little fly. If I can't ease your fears, I hope I can at least help you go to sleep. Perhaps it would help if I took you for a short walk? Oh, no, my dear fly, you won't be walking. You'll stay nice and snuggled up in my silk. I can just stick you to my abdomen. Much as I hate to admit it, there's more than enough room for you back there. Oh, you're so sweet to say that. Come here. There we are, nice and secure. Let me show you the garden. Well, it's not exactly a garden as you'd know it, but it's a lovely chamber full of glowing moss and crystals. Let's go. Oh, don't mind the guards, dear. You know they have to stay nearby. Oh, here we are. Didn't I tell you? I come here often to relax myself. I'm sure you miss being out in the sun, but I think light is most beautiful amidst darkness. Don't you agree? Oh, hear the crystals singing? You know, my little fly, I've had my own experience with loss. I think I have a small inkling of how you're feeling right now. I had a lover once, a spider mate that was so wonderful. Back when I had just taken over as queen, I was always so anxious. But he knew just what to say to put me at ease. We were going to have a clutch of eggs together. Back then, we didn't live down here in the caves. Our settlement was much closer to human territory, up high in the trees. It was beautiful. But there were humans who feared us. Though we were peaceful, they knew how much more powerful we were than they. All it took for them to turn on us was one of their children catching an illness with symptoms similar to spiderfolk venom. Our settlement was attacked during the day while we slept. My lover stayed behind to guard our retreat, and I never saw him again. I've never been able to enter a relationship since, which is why I've never had offspring of my own. No, it's all right. It was a long time ago. Nearly a whole human lifetime. I don't blame all humans for what happened. For a time, I did crave revenge. But in the end, I decided it was best for our people to seclude ourselves away from others, to avoid more bloodshed. I know that our situations aren't exactly the same. I still had my people, while you lost everything. But I do understand what it's like to fear something, to really fear it. For years after the attack, I was ready for something else to happen. I could hardly enjoy any good thing that came into my life. I was so afraid it would be ripped away from me. But I promise, one day you'll be able to face your fears and see them for what they are. Just thoughts. Come, my little fly, let's head back. The sooner you get to sleep, the more strength you'll have to carry on. There. Are you comfortable? I hope you're feeling more relaxed now, my dear. Good. There's one last thing I could do to help you drift off. If you like, just go ahead and close your eyes. I'll hum you a lullaby while I pluck at the web. It's something my mother did for me when I was young. Ah, you're drifting off. Just relax. Mama Kekria is here for you. You're safe, and you'll always be safe. Are you still awake, little fly? Little fly? Oh, I'm glad. Poor thing. Sleep soundly. Guard, come here. Is that tribe of gnolls still camped near our borders? I suppose it was too much to hope they'd leave on their own. I want you to send word to build defensive fortifications in that area. Take no chances. Spare no expense. I won't allow them to invade. One more thing. Make sure the other guards know not to mention the gnolls while my little fly is around. I can't let the poor dear know they're still a threat. Now go, please. I'll protect you, my little fly. I'll protect you at all costs. I won't lose anybody else. Oh, my little fly, that was much, much too close. Are you all right? Are you hurt at all? Oh, I should have known it was a bad idea to let you go outside the caves. I never dreamed they would attack so soon, but that's no excuse. You're so important to me. I should have been extra cautious. Shh, no, little fly, don't struggle. I'm carrying you away from danger. The gnolls have made their move. I'm afraid it's no longer safe for us in the caves. Our warriors are guarding the evacuation route of the spider folk, but they'll have to fall back eventually. We're not suited for open combat like this, especially when numbers aren't on our side. Soon they'll have to retreat, and we must make sure we're gone by then. Yes, you're right, little fly. I've been expecting this for some time. The gnolls started gathering at our borders weeks ago. I believe they were recruiting other tribes to help them, and I assumed negotiations would have taken far longer. Gnolls aren't known for their skills in diplomacy. Well, you didn't know because I made it clear to everyone that you weren't to be informed. I had intended for us to... Hey, little fly, where are you going? Come back! Little fly? Little fly, you won't be able to get away fast enough on your own. Please, let me carry you. From me? Why would you run from me? Little fly, we don't have time for games. Please, we can talk about this later. Just come with me for now. You're going to get lost. Even without gnolls approaching, the swamps are dangerous. Oh, dear, listen. I'm sure this is about me not telling you about the gnolls, right? I'm sorry. This must feel like a breach of trust, but I had to. Oh, would you please stop? It's so hard to explain while I'm chasing you. Oh, my. Are you all right? Come here. Please don't struggle. It's going to be all right. I know you're angry. Perhaps you have a right to be. But can you at least agree to be angry with me while we get to safety? You won't be doing yourself any favors by getting yourself killed. Thank you, little fly. Now I'm just going to wrap you up a little bit to make sure you're secure. It will be tricky, but I can do it on the move. Please hold still. Well, to be honest, yes, I am afraid you might try to run again. But it will also help me avoid dropping you as we retreat. There we are. All right, now, I suppose I owe you an explanation. So, as I said before, I knew about the gnolls since they first started gathering near our border. I guessed right away that they planned to attack, As soon as that was clear, I gave my guards orders not to bring the subject up around you. Yes, I know. I mean, if you had ever asked me directly, I wouldn't have lied about it, but it was a lie of omission. There's no denying that. Still, I hope I can convince you that I was acting entirely for your benefit. Let me ask you, what would you have done if I'd told you about the gnolls, Exactly right. I was already arranging for us to evacuate silently. My hope was that we could get away before they knew we were gone, so we couldn't be followed. I don't want you to feel helpless. In fact, that's largely why I did things this way. But there wasn't anything you could do, even if you had known. I decided it was better that you continue living peacefully, to heal, rather than adding unnecessary stress. Perhaps you're right. I am treating you a bit like a child. I hope you won't resent me for it. It's just, I know that by human standards you're no longer a mere youth, though still young. But spider folk live far longer than humans. I'm 212 years old myself. Not exactly in the springtime of youth, even by spider folk standards, but I'm far from an old maid. I've lived far, far longer than you, and experienced so much. A spiderling with your life experience would only just barely be learning to spin silk. Oh, dear, I've upset you, haven't I? Well, I'll admit that perhaps I shouldn't be thinking of you as a spiderling. Humans are different. If I waited until you were an adult by spiderfolk standards to treat you like one, you'd be only a few decades from the end of your life. So, having said that, could you ever forgive me for keeping this from you? Once we're safe, I promise we can talk about what I should trust to you and what you can trust to me. Oh, thank you, little fly. Now, let's keep moving. I don't want to let those gnolls catch up. I must say, humans constantly surprise me with how passionately they react to some things. We spider folk aren't very quick to anger. You'd be hard-pressed to find one you could offend without meaning to. I think perhaps it's the patient predator in each of us to thank for that. But I'm not trying to call you unfair or irritable, dear. You see, we can also be prone to apathy and listlessness. I think that's a side effect. I'm actually considered rather excitable by my kind. You may get easily frustrated in comparison, but that's because you care deeply about things. I told you before about why I call you my little fly. In so many ways, you seem small and helpless. And yet, humans have great cities, even empires. Despite our superior strength, abilities, even the wisdom born of centuries of experience, we remain in small colonies. I think we lack the passion, the spark that humans have. It isn't without drawbacks, of course. I'll never forget how quick humans were to blame us and attack my first home all those years ago. Still, I respect it as one of the strengths of your species. Perhaps you might share a little of that spark with us once we've settled in our new home? It would be wonderful if we could build up some defenses quickly. Even while fleeing in broad daylight, we plan to lose them, but I don't want to rely on that. Either way, I won't let them lay so much as a finger on you. There's not a force in this world that could stop me from protecting you, my dear little fly. You've made me so happy since you came into my life. and I'll do anything to protect you and your precious smile. I hope you'll always remember that, dearest. Here, we've almost reached the edge of the swamp. There's a secure underground tunnel nearby that will take us the rest of the way to our safe haven. I'll keep you protected and happy there. You'll see. All right, we're coming up on the end of the tunnel, little fly. It's about to get really bright, so get ready. Oh, wonderful! Everything has already been set up. Guard, has everyone been accounted for? Were there any casualties? Well, I hoped, of course, for no deaths, but I'm grateful our losses were as small as they were. Not everyone comes out of a Gnoll Attack quite as... Oh, I'm sorry, little fly. How insensitive of me. How are you holding up? Well, thank goodness for that, at least. I'm sure this has all been very hard on you, but I'm so proud of how strong you've been. We spider folk usually see humans as small and weak, but your spirit is resilient. And now, your endurance will finally pay off. We've arrived at our new home. We've kept this forest under close watch as a place we could rebuild if anything were to happen. Most other races avoid it because of the giant insects, but, well, that's just perfect for us. Plentiful food and safety, just what we need in this dark time. Oh, but you're not used to that, are you? Well, I'm sure there are other things to eat in the forest. And, who knows? Maybe you could grow to enjoy insects? Well, we'll see. Anyway, doesn't this look wonderful? We started preparations for the move the moment we heard rumors of gnolls nearby. We already have so many webs built. Webs for food storage, gatherings, of course, sleeping webs. It lacks some of the splendor of our old home, I admit, but we can build things back up. Maybe even you can learn how to weave spider silk to help. Oh, no need to worry about intruders. Look, now that everyone's here, they're sealing the entrance. We've also set traps all throughout the tunnel. I doubt they'll find the secret entrances, but if they do, they'll go straight to their deaths. Serves the awful beasts right. Oh. Say, would you mind if I took you up into that tree there? It's been so long since I've been able to rest in a tree's branches. Thank you, dear fly. Oh, here. Up we go. Oh, and what a view. We can see almost the entire settlement. It looks a bit more impressive from this angle, doesn't it? Little fly, there's something I wanted to say. I'm sorry, again, for how I treated you before. I honestly still don't feel like keeping the Gnoll's secret from you was wrong, exactly. But I never wanted to hurt you, and I regret making you feel upset. I plan for the two of us to be much closer to each other from now on. I'll be able to be much more transparent. Oh? Well, it's very noble of you to shoulder the blame, but I don't think you have anything to apologize for. After all, you were under so much stress. I couldn't possibly blame you for being easily upset. What? You... Oh, dear. Oh, come here, little fly. Oh, no, I'm so sorry to hear that. But listen, the Gnoll Attack was absolutely not your fault. Gnolls don't follow individual people. They would have attacked us whether you came to us or not. You are in no way responsible for any of this. But you know what? Even if they had been targeting you, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I wouldn't give you up for anything. Spider folk aren't fond of being strong-armed or intimidated into doing things. If they had asked us to hand you over, we would have rather fled anyway. But again, and I really can't stress this enough, that isn't what happened. They've just become more active in the area. I'm afraid that we won't be the only ones who have to deal with it. But that does mean that you hold no responsibility for it. You're just a victim of bad luck, that's all, like the rest of us. No, not in the slightest. I've never thought of you as a burden. You already know that I see you as the child I never had. In fact, well, I was thinking, how would you feel about me adopting you? Formally. I was hesitant to bring it up after our earlier disagreement, but it has been on my mind for a while. You mean so much to me, and I would love it if our bond could be more official. In the end, labels won't change how we feel about each other, but I would like everyone to know that I truly see you as my child. Truly? Are you sure it's all right? I don't want to pressure you. I know it's a big decision. If you want, I could give you time to... Well, if you're sure, then I'll make the arrangements. Thank you so much, little fly. It means the world to me that you can accept me as a mother to you. Come here. And I don't in any way want to replace your birth parents, of course. I like to think that they would approve, though. Since they can't be here, I will take joy in taking care of you for them. Oh? Of course. What was your question? Ah, I see. Well, we spider folk don't have a simple line of succession like most human kingdoms do. You won't necessarily become next in line for the throne when you're officially adopted. The way we do things is a little bit different. Are you curious? Well, let's see. When a spiderfolk ruler passes away or steps down, anyone who wishes may step up to take their place. Usually there are around 3 or 4 volunteers, so in the beginning they all work together. As time goes on, one of them is usually better at the job than the others. The volunteers who aren't as skilled generally drop out as they realize that they aren't the best for the job, until only one is left. But of course it doesn't always turn out quite like that. In some cases, some are better at some parts of ruling than others, and they end up working together permanently. There are also times where one of the candidates clearly isn't the best choice, but is just too stubborn to quit. Splitting the workload between multiple rulers has its perks, but it can also get complicated. Oh, well, yes, that has happened before. Actually, I think a long time ago. Competitors always tried to eliminate each other. But we're much more civilized now. And if foul play is suspected, the perpetrator is rarely accepted. You're not much of a ruler if your subjects don't obey you. All that being said, it's not uncommon for the child of a ruler to become their parent's successor. The right upbringing can make all the difference. So you don't have to worry about inheriting the throne if that's not something you want. If you do, though, I could certainly tutor you. A human ruler would be interesting. There aren't any specific rules against a non-spiderfolk ruler, but it has never happened before. That doesn't mean it can't happen. Well, now that we've gotten a nice bird's eye view of the settlement, what do you say we walk around and get a closer look, Oh, everything is coming along so nicely, isn't it? You know, I once spoke about how spiderfolk can be a bit apathetic compared to humans. It's not very good for inspiring us to push our boundaries, but it does make us very good at staying calm in difficult situations, just like this one. Oh, it looks like the hunters are back. Look at all those. That wasp looks especially juicy. Ah, and they caught a deer as well. Do you like venison? Well, we can eat in a bit. Let's keep going. Oh, they've already gotten some classes going for the spiderlings. You know, I considered having you join in, but many of the lessons wouldn't be very useful to you. No point teaching a human how to spin silk, after all. Besides, I'd hate to go that long without you by my side. Now, coming up here, I have a little bit of a surprise for you. Do you remember a few days ago when I needed to leave you with the guards while I went away on some, business? Well, ta-da! I was actually building this web for us. It's a little bit bare bones at the moment. I just wanted something functional for whenever we needed to move. Do you notice how differently it's laid out? I designed it specifically so you could climb on, off, and around it as easily as possible. Come here, try it out. Oh, isn't that so great? You always needed my help to navigate my old web, but you'll be able to get around this one all on your own. And are you ready for the best part? Over here. I have a little section set aside just for you. If you ever feel like you need some privacy, you can pull these curtains. You could sleep here too, but, well, I was rather hoping you'd continue to sleep with me. Good, that's a relief. Well, we had a very scary moment getting here, but I think this is going to be a great opportunity for the both of us. We're going to be able to have such a great life together from now on, little fly.